This is section 7.5 on installment buying. So this section, we're going to take the stuff we did with the TVM solver. We're going to take it a step further and talk about specific types of loans, like, car loans. In the next section, we talk about house purchases, things like that. Now, when it comes to this stuff, as you're doing these examples, you'll notice in Alex, with each homework problem, there's a little icon off to the side and it says, show me an example. It'll show you a worked example that's similar to the one you're doing. Now, if you look at that, show me an example, and Alex is using this big honkin' formula that we talked about in the last section, that is your cue that instead you're going to use the TVM solver. Okay? So on all these problems for today, we're going to be using that TVM solver. So if you look at an example in Alex, it's going to use this thing. If you want to use this and you understand where Alex is coming from and you can follow it, absolutely use this, okay? I'm not going to stop you, but I think it's better, like real world wise, to be able to use this, because this is going to be more like what you're going to see online with like mortgage calculators or car payment calculators and things like that you're going to find online. It's going to be more like this. So I'd like for you to get used to this because I feel like it's more real world. You know what I'm saying? This is not the real world. So anyway, back to 7.5. We have some terminology we got to get down. So first of all is, what is installment buying? Well, a purchase that requires regular periodic payments is installment buying. Now, these payments that you're making are called installments. All right. A fixed installment loan is a loan that's repaid in equal periodic payments. So that's like, a car note, right? So you've got this, these equal periodic payments, usually monthly payments that you're paying back on that car loan. Now, a down payment is the amount that you pay at the time of purchase. It's not included in the payment amounts. Now, that's good because typically loans are going to accrue interest. You're going to have to pay interest on your loan amount. So anything you can do to lessen your loan amount will lessen the amount of interest that you pay. Okay? Sometimes a down payment is required and sometimes it's not. It just depends on where you're buying it from, things like that. So to calculate a down payment, you're going to be given some kind of amount. Like let's say that you're buying a car and they require a 10% down payment. Okay. You're going to be given it as a percent. We're going to have to change that to a decimal and we're going to multiply it by the price. Okay. So remember, this is multiplication, these parentheses, this smushing together. If you want to know that smushing together implying multiplication has a kind of a super sexy name. It's called juxtaposition. So throw that down on the Scrabble board and then just walk away like a boss. The amount financed, that is going to be your loan amount. All right. And that's the amount you're going to pay interest on. All right. This is what your payments are going to be calculated from. So the formula for that is going to be the price minus the down payment. So the down payment is going to come off of the price. That is going to be that loan amount or that amount financed. So what can make these sections complicated is all the different terminology. And the reason for that is because I'm not trying to make it hard. The real world makes it hard. Because the real world has different terminologies. Some places might call it the amount financed. Some places might call it the amount of the loan. Some people may call it a fixed installment loan. So it really just depends on the lender. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you guys all this information so that when you see this in the real world, you'll know what to do. Okay, so let's keep going. We have the total installment price. Now, the total installment price is going to be the sum of all the payments plus the down payment. This is really the number you're interested in. Like when it comes to, say, buying a car, you want to know, how much am I actually paying for it, right? So let's say that the car is $50,000. you want to know what is the actual total installment price. How much am I actually paying? Because that's going to have to work in interest as well. The formula for this is going to be your payment amount. So I'm just abbreviating this, and I hope I'm not abbreviating you into confusion, but that means payment amount times the number of payments plus the down payment. That adds up everything that you're paying on the car in payments plus whatever you gave for the down payment. All total is going to be how much you actually paid for the car and will include interest. The interest on something is also called the finance charge. So that's just another terminology for the amount of interest paid. The formula for that is going to be this total installment price minus whatever that purchase price was. So it's how much you actually paid versus how much it cost. So the difference in that is going to be your interest, which they call the finance charge because it's what you were charged in order to finance something. Usually to finance something means to take out a loan for repayment purposes. Okay, so this stuff is all on here. All right. So down here, under annuities, remember annuities occur when you make regular fixed payments into a compound interest account. You're going to use the TVM solver. Okay. So this was the compound interest up here and the effective rate. The compound interest was when you just invested a chunk of money and you just let it sit there. Okay. Annuities make regular periodic payments. The saving up versus paying off is going to help you know which one of these is zero, the present value or the future value. The down payment we just went over, the amount financed, and the total cost or the total installment price, whichever one you want to call it, and then the finance charge. So I put all this stuff on here so that you can have a quick reference guide. You also can always reference these notes. You're welcome to use that formula sheet and these notes during any tests, quizzes, final, homework, all of it, okay? All right, there's 6 homework problems, so let's work through some. Before I start, homework number 3 is a doozy. Now, I left it in there because it is such a good real-world problem. Even though it is convoluted, I left it in because it's a good, like I said, real-world problem. So what I did was I wrote it up separately, and I'm posting it in D2L as an announcement. So you'll see that one worked out. It's color-coded for your viewing pleasure. It is about buying a car. It factors in more than just calculating payments. It has things like title and tax and things like that, and trade-in. So it gets really messy. Okay, so with that one going to be separate, let's move on to homework number 1. Now, remember that I'm just pulling these out of Alex. Your problem will be similar. It will use different numbers, but the situation will be the same. Okay, so hopefully you can follow what I'm doing and make the modifications based on your different numbers that Alex is going to give you. Okay, so homework number 1. We have this item purchased for $590, the down payment of 14%. You finance the rest for 6 months for payments of $89.90. Okay, that's pretty cool. They went ahead and gave us the payment amount. That's awesome, okay? Find the down payment and the total installment price. Okay, now the down payment is going to come from right here, 14%. But remember how I said a percent is not a constant. It's 14% of something. Well, it's 14% of your purchase price. So the down payment, remember my formula, was a percent as a decimal. That's the percent right here, times the purchase price. That's this number up here. So I'm trying to color code these so that you can see here's the formula, and then here's where I got that information from. So if you ever see colors on here, they're very intentional, okay? So 14%, we know as a decimal. We've been changing these suckers from percents to decimals for a while now. Percent per 100 is 0.14. So if we multiply 0.14 times 590, we get $82.60. There's my down payment amount. So this is a two-part problem. Find the down payment. Boom, there's the answer for part one. The total installment price. So the total installment price is the sum of all the payments plus the down payment. So the formula is right here. Payment amount times the number of payments plus the down payment. All right, so total installment price, there's your formula. Payment amount times the number of payments plus the down payment. The payment amount is up here, $89.90, that was given. The number of payments is 6 months. So it says you finance the rest for 6 months. And then your down payment of $82.60, that came from right there. All right, so you can put this in your calculator all at once. Let me open my drawer here and grab out my calculator. So you can type that all in at one time, and we're going to get $622. So you can type it in using parentheses or just using multiplication. 89.90 times 6 plus 82.60. So we get $622. That means this item that's $590, you actually paid $622 for it. So why are these numbers different? If this is what it cost, why did you pay this amount? Because of the interest. So there was a finance charge or interest charged here. So all of that is interest. Okay, let's move on along to number 2. And I put on here as well that this is similar to homework number 6. That way, when you go to do homework number 6, you can reference this example as well. Okay, so homework number 2, we have an item purchased for $15,700. The down payment, we're not given a percent here, we're given an amount. The down payment's $5,200. And you have 24 monthly payments of $489.30. And we're asked to find the APR. That stands for annual percentage rate. So we're finding the rate. Alex is going to have you use something called an APR table. Please don't do that. I mean, if you just really want to follow what Alex is doing, you can, but just use the TVM solver. Don't use an APR table. Just don't. It's just unnecessarily complicated. Okay, so we're going to open up the TVM solver. So remember, it's under apps. And then mine has a finance menu first before I get to the TVM solver. I think some of the newer ones go straight to the TVM solver. All right, let's start filling in all of these things in the TVM solver menu. First up, we have N. N, remember, capital N is the number of payments. The situation, here's everything that was given, says 24 monthly payments. So luckily, we don't really have to do any kind of calculation. It's given to us. We would have to do a calculation if it said like monthly payments for 5 years, or monthly payments for 4 years or something like that. But here it just tells us 24 monthly payments total. Boom, 24. I, the interest rate, is what we're going to solve for. Remember, we're trying to find the rate, the annual percentage rate. The present value. The present value is the amount of the loan or the amount financed. It is going to be the price minus the down payment. The price up here is $15,700 minus that down payment. Now, you don't have to do that calculation separately. You can type that into the TVM solver and it'll do that computation for you. And I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, the payment is $489.30. Let's ignore that negative for a second, okay? I'm going to show you why I put that in there later. So $489.30. Future value is 0. That's because we're paying off this loan. So here's the amount we're going to finance. We're paying it off to 0, and we're making monthly payments. Remember how I said if something's highlighted, that it's very intentional on my part. All right, so let's put this information in. We have N up here, 24 monthly payments. I we're solving for. Who cares what that number is? Just leave it there. If you try to clear it, it won't let you go to another field. So you have to put something in there just to let it, move you to the next field. Okay, PV is your loan amount. That's going to be this $15,700 minus $5,200. So notice how I'm typing in the subtraction. When I hit enter, it'll do the subtraction and send me to the next field. All right, payment. Now, here's the thing. If we put in 489.30, let's just do that for now. Don't put in the negative just yet. I'm going to show you what happens. FV, the future value is 0. That's because, let's go back to the formula sheet. If you're paying off a loan, then PV is going to be, I said price, it's actually your loan amount. Because if we have a down payment of some kind, that reduces the loan amount. And FV is 0 because you're paying it off. All right, and then down here we have 12. Remember, these are so often the same that watch, when I have 12, if I hit enter, boom, it changes the next one to 12. So otherwise you can just go through and change both of them. Okay, let's go back up to interest rate. If I hit solve, and remember solve is alpha, the green key, and enter. If I hit solve, watch what happens. Alpha, enter. Now don't dismiss this screen, okay? It says error, no sign change. Remember how in the last section when we calculated it, the payments had a negative on there, and I told you to ignore it because it just means money going out of your account. Well, it turns out that we kind of need it right here. And I wanted to show you that if you forgot that negative, the calculator will tell you, hey, there's no sign change. So look, go to. So it's blinking right there. Okay, I can't calculate that. So let me go in here and let me put a negative. Now let's be careful. Don't use subtraction. You need to use the negative symbol, which is down here. So I'm going to insert. So I hit second, delete is my insert button. So second and then delete in blue. It says INS above there. It's my insert button. So I inserted a negative, not a subtraction. Now, if I go up there and hit alpha and enter, now it's going to give me, boom, 10.98%. And Alex asked for it to be rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I wanted to show you what would happen if you forgot the negative on the payment. More often than not, these problems are going to be asking us to calculate the payment. So this is one of the few problems where you have to remember that negative, but I just wanted to show you that if you forgot it, the calculator will help you there. All right. The next one is going to be homework number 5. So we have 2 more examples to do here. Homework number 5, we've got a purchase price of $890, a down payment of $92, 12 monthly payments of $114.75, and we want to find the total installment price. Okay, so we go back to here. The total installment price is this formula right here. Payment amount times the number of payments plus the down payment. This is just a computation, right? There's no TVM solver or anything to do here. Total installment price is this formula, and we have everything we need. Payment amount is right here, $114.75. Number of payments, 12. Down payment, $92. Boom. Put all that in your calculator. Now what you should do is pause the video and be putting this stuff in your calculator along with me. Don't just watch. Do these computations with me. Pause the video before I start working a problem and try to work ahead of me. Because math, much like sports, is not learned by watching. You have to actually be an active participant. Okay? So multiplying that and then adding 92, booyah, we get this. That's my total installment price. Okay, last one. We have homework number 4. So we've got a purchase price of $525. The down payment is $75. We have 30 monthly payments and a finance charge of 11%. That is your interest rate. I know it's weird that we use so many different terminologies for these things, okay? But that is your interest rate. And then let's find the payment amount. Okay, so let's bust out the TVM solver. Now, here's your TVM solver. Remember, N is your number of payments. It told me right here, 30 monthly payments. The interest rate is right here, 11%. Remember, we can leave it as a percent. You don't have to change it to a decimal. This is my amount financed, or my loan amount. This is the purchase price minus the down payment. So it's the purchase price minus the down payment. I'm solving for payment because it says find the payment amount. My future value is 0 because I'm paying off the loan. And then because it says monthly right there, that's why these are going to be 12. You're going to see that this last stuff here is pretty much going to stay fixed because a lot of these we're going to be paying things off and payments are often done monthly. Okay, so let's go back to the TVM solver. N is 30, I is 11, PV is 525 minus 75, and the calculator will do that subtraction for me. I'm going to solve for payment. FV is 0 and then 1212. So right here, I need to be blinky blinky in the payment line. I'm going to hit alpha and then enter to solve. And I get, remember we just ignored the negative because it just means money coming out from your account. And that's $17.23. That's because that 5 rounds that second 2 up. So that is your payment amount. Okay, so that finishes up section 7.5.